Spawn village at sunset. That is new. That I believe is a general mob grinder here at Spawn, which is actually really nice because it can supply us with some decent gunpowder. I'm looking at hopefully building a witch farm over there if somebody isn't going to get to it before I do. I'm not sure when that's going to happen though. But yeah, things are starting to come together, get more populated, more crowded here. It's starting to look really nice. And here's the game over here. The shooting gallery. Let's go take a look. See if I can make that throw. Where's it gonna put me? Hey, I'm on top. Good. As you can see, I don't have a very nice shipwreck going on here. Something I put together, kind of a framework of wreckage. And what I think I want to do with it is to undergo a restoration project, which actually I need to get some cobwebs first. And still haven't quite finished with the inside. But yeah, I'd like to undertake a restoration project on the shipwreck. That way it's kind of a gradual process because it's going to take a bit of time to get it the way I want it. But I get a little cargo hold down here. All the redstone is down below for the game. Well, you can't see all the redstone from there. There's quite a bit of redstone underneath the difficulty selector and such. But, oh, let me just respond here. Not entirely sure yet. I'm not sure what I want to put in the reward shop. I have some ideas. Do I want to... Yeah, I'll A-list together soon. I'll put it that way, because I don't want, I don't want the other players on the server to necessarily be giving everything to the reward shop, because that kind of defeats the purpose of playing the game and earning rewards, but I know he's going to have a lot of leftovers. My goodness, active central here tonight. A lot of leftovers from his villager trades, as I myself am as well. I think I've got about 50 shovels right now. But yeah, the mechanics have all been closed in here, and I did some decorating. Got a little piratical nonsense on the sides here. Let me run over here, I'll see if I can safely navigate this shipwreck. There we go. Little skull on the sides and back. And let's pop over there. You can see the glowstone eyes and a coal nose. Kind of give it a little bit better look. And behind it, it's all closed off so that you can't see in. And it's nice and dark. Give it that kind of spooky, dead pirate kind of look. Get lost. Get lost. Go on. Yeah. Thanks for pitching in. So yeah. I don't like the way that the wood is showing on the top, but I also don't want to make it extra tall. I might make it one taller. Certainly wouldn't be a problem for resources. But anyway, I like the little design there. And once I put it together, I was sold on putting it in there. So this is where the shop is going to be. The reward shop that we have been talking about stocking. And then this, of course, is where you play the game. I don't remember how much I showed last time, but yeah, oh, I don't think I put the payment in last time. But yeah, you put the payment in here. Currently it's 1 slime ball to play a full game with reward potential, and you can practice for free. No problem. Thanks for the mossy and cracked stone. I ran over to his stronghold and got a ton of mossy and cracked stone bricks. He wasn't going to do anything with them, and he said I could go take whatever I needed, so I decided to leave him a diamond block as a thank you. And that was, I think I got like 22 full stacks. It was a great, great, great trip. So yeah, you push the button, hop in the cart, push the button to begin the game. the minecarts will start running, and if you've paid, you'll be able to get your rewards once you've beaten the game over here by pushing the collect your booty button. Collect your booty! So let's just show really quickly here. 1, 2, bum 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 bum, 3. I'd really like to be able to have music. I might do some sort of piratical tune underneath so that it's playing when the game is active, but that's another big time consuming project for me, at least, because I haven't done a lot with note blocks. So it would be a lot of fun to learn and to practice with the different timings and the different sounds that are available. I think I'd really enjoy doing that, but it isn't. Oh, there's the tone. So we have beaten the game. Here's the armory, by the way. Oop. Arm yourself. You can see I've dabbled. I actually did a full playtest with it to make sure that it worked correctly. Oop, let's hop in the cart. Collect your booty. Woo! And let me make sure. Yep, did not get a reward ticket because I did not pay. But let's go down and take a look at the redstone that I added. First, there's the reset. When you press the collect your booty button, it will come down and this will turn off for just a second, which will turn this back on long enough that it reaches out and grabs the redstone block and pulls it back in, which resets the payment, because over here we've got a little filter here for the slime balls, and they come through just like over at Zach's where the chicken is filtered out. You can see down here the redstone signal. Once you get one more slime ball in there, it will activate and you'll suck it. It'll allow this to suck down in because it turns the power off to this hopper. And then it will go through a 1-tick pulser here. Actually it's a monostable with a 1-tick pulse conversion there. Monostable. This is the same tileable design that I used elsewhere, which it can be made tileable by putting a repeater there, but anyway. This turns the scoring lock off, or the reward lock off for payment. And of course we also still have the game objective lock for rewards. So this has to turn off back here, where it will register if you've beaten the game. And there's the hopper clock for the little alarm tone letting you know that you've completed it. I actually want to run redstone up to some redstone lamps also, so you have a visual indicator, because if you have your sound turned down, you're not going to hear the note blocks playing back there, although you can hear them all the way in the furthest difficulty level, so you should be able to hear them with your sound on. Still, it shouldn't have to be a requirement that you've got your sound on in order to know when you've beaten the game. And then we have the redstone signal from the game completion traveling all the way over here into another toggle, which will allow, actually, let me go back over here. I'm doing a terrible job of showing this as usual. This is still a very tiny 1-tick pulse going through here, so that's repeated along, and this will cause this to drop the redstone block, and then once you're ready to play, it'll retract it. And you can actually do that also if you use the button up front. You can turn it on and off. The redstone block then powers this hopper, which causes this to be able to flow back in, which is... I have it turned off, don't I? I do. Yeah. So this is off. Reset! This is off. And when you turn it on, it will leave the block there, which will lock this hopper. Which means the only time, obviously, that the items can move is when this pulses. when this turns off for a brief second, which will allow 3 items to move into this hopper, and that is how your score is determined. When this is empty, 10 carts, 3 sand or 3 items per cart. When this is empty, then the game registers as being the game objective has been reached, has been completed. Just cannot explain anything today. My gosh, it has been one heck of a week here, trying to scrape together time to get this done, or at least this phase of it done, because like I said, I've got a lot more to do as far as the ship restoration project, which I've got to name that thing. I'm trying to, what do I want to name it? You do it the Flying Squirrel instead of the Flying Dutchman. The Flying Squirrel Restoration Project, or the Brown Betty Restoration. I don't know, something silly. I'll think of something, then I'll name her and break a bottle of champagne on her hull. And she can sit here, sailing perpetually. Let me pop up here to the top. I actually had a stair here. Do I have anything? I don't have anything. Of course I don't have anything. Actually, I should have something over there. Yeah. Let's put some stairs here temporarily. But the idea of the shipwreck look, I kind of want it so that, as you can see in here, this is obviously the most heavily damaged part of the ship, because the backstory here is that this vessel sailed in back when this was a river coming through here. As you can see, the water had carved out this area over time. And you can see a little bit of remaining water over here. There's a spring that was feeding in to the river over here. And she ran aground right about here. Really poor navigation skills. So she ran aground, and she's been sitting here ever since, just decaying slowly as time and the flow of water ate away at her hull, primarily on this side. The back over here is not nearly as damaged, but you can still see some damage down at the bottom where the ship had already incurred some wear and tear from being under the water. In fact, the ship is still technically embedded in the sand that's built up around it over time. But you can see up there was some damage from a fight. She was definitely fleeing battle when she sailed down here, which explains one reason why she might have run aground. There are still 2 cannon ports intact, which may actually be put to use later in some fashion, but don't know how much I want to do with TNT in this area. This thing's already extremely vulnerable to lightning strikes, so yeah, we've got the little captain's cabin underneath that you saw, and the back of the ship here is, let me just pop down, is in much better shape than anything else, although it still looks like crap. Nice big juicy crap. Pop back up. And there. That works. So yeah, the game is actually functional, and the reward tickets are stocked, although I do have to rename some more paper in order to get my keys to stick, in order to get the actual reward ticket caches, I guess you would say. Reward ticket caches filled, and that's going to be I'm not going to overdo it and kill myself, going to 39 levels repeatedly just to make sure this thing is chock full of tickets, and then it sits there and nobody plays it for a month, So as I check and see how the reward tickets are being earned and how many are being used, I'll make sure to keep up on the ticket caches and such. But the next big project, the next project I want to work on, not necessarily a big one, it'll be big enough, putting the shop in here and getting the items all renamed and so forth so that the prizes can be won. I want to stick more with practical things done in a fun or silly fashion. Like, I think I want to do pirate sabers or iron swords in here. I may include an enchanted diamond sword, for example, in there somewhere in the iron pirate cutlass cache. So as you redeem your reward tickets, every once in a while you might get a diamond pirate cutlass with 30 levels applied to it as a nice little surprise. And that's the general idea of what I want to do for the reward shop. I might only do, let me see, this is right up against the redstone, I think. Yeah. So I can't do a whole lot on this side as far as using redstone behind it. So I'm going to have to stay mostly in the floor. And I think I want to do 4 or 5 different prizes just so there's a variety. Not sure I'm going to have enough room, but when I do the restoration project I might make this bigger anyway. Because the ship itself is actually quite small as far as what I have the shipwreck at now. Especially in proportion to everything else. So, just run back here. Yeah, see, she's relatively small, and I want her to stay kind of small, but I can certainly, based on the proportions of the front part of the wreckage. The front of the wreckage is a little bit longer in proportion to the back of the wreckage, I think, so I can bring this back a few more meters and smooth out the transition a little bit when I start replacing the actual structure. But I still want to keep it kind of looking a little damaged and a little spooky. So I think I'm going to go with spruce logs instead of spruce wood, and then I will maintain some of the damage to preserve the history of the vessel. So that I think is going to be a lot of fun, but after throwing together this framework and working all of it out, the general shape, so that it actually was shaped something like an actual ship, like I think this was generally shaped after, it might have been a merchantman. It's not a sloop, and it's certainly not a gallon. I think, yeah, this was patterned after a merchantman, roughly, which makes the most sense because most of the ships that pirates actually got their hands on were merchant vessels, or merchantmen in general, the merchant class vessels. And this is generally what they looked like, because they weren't actually designed for war, they were actually designed to defend themselves against pirates. Take what you have and use it against you. Yar! I also want to show you real quick over here. I believe this is, yeah, this would be Kaner's. He's got a little villager breeding system set up here, and it's really neat. I think it's similar to the one that Doc M set up, but I'm not sure because I don't pay a lot of attention when I'm watching, especially the Minecracker videos. I sort of pay attention, and I like their videos and such, and I pay enough attention to, get the gist of what's going on and everything, but I don't pay very close attention to any one particular thing they do because there's so much to watch, there's so much to go through, and most of the time I'm busy doing something else while I'm catching up, if I manage to catch up. But yeah, I was over here and I borrowed his sugarcane farm to build up a little bit of a stock for enchanting reward tickets, and I heard something dying. I heard a villager burning to death, and so I had to come over here and check it out, and it's really, really neat. I'm actually a little jealous at how cool this is, but I don't have really a big use for it myself. I kind of satisfied that by just breeding them all in that one house and then going through and filtering them. But still, this is awesome, especially if you're planning on rotating out your villager trades, which I think is why Doc set his up that way, so that he could just, press a button and approve or send them along. I'm not sure if Kaner's doing that. I presume so, but I know he's been doing a lot of trading lately, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he comes up with, because this is a heck of a lot closer to spawn, and it's very accessible for everybody to use, which is awesome. I needed to set mine up, and I had where I had, and I had the villagers where I had them, so that's the only reason I didn't set mine up close to spawn. I actually did donate some resources to setting one up closer to spawn, and then nothing came out of that project, unfortunately. So I am ecstatic that Kaner is setting that up over there. But that's all I've got for today. At least that's all I'm willing to show. I have done some other little work here and there, but this is the gist of it. This is my baby, and this is what I've been working on the most. And she's actually playable with rewards finally. Now all I have to do is get the shop together so that people can actually spend their reward tickets, and I don't have angry mobs at my door. I did actually put a door in, so I do technically have a door. So I don't want angry mobs piling up at that door with torches and pitchforks wanting something for their reward tickets. And hopefully people will enjoy playing the game. It is a little tricky, especially when you get back to Master Gunner, trying to get the timing right for the way the game handles the arrows and the minecarts. You kind of have to aim up and definitely lead it. So it's a lot of good practice as far as dealing with, especially if you're trying to shoot something like a little baby zombie from a distance, because you definitely have to lead those little buggers. And if anybody needs any bows or arrows, this is all completely free. I have plenty available to me, courtesy of my skeleton grinder, and I think there will also be some more available as bones and arrows start piling up over here as well. So I don't think anybody necessarily needs a free bow at this point, but it can be useful. It can come in handy. And this is just really neat. I'm happy that we have a general mob grinder set up. So that is all for today, and I will see you next time. Presumably back at Chinopolis. I may get the urge to continue on my redstone binge and set up the shop, or I may be working on an iron farm, or I may be doing something completely different. But in the meantime, take care, and I'll see you next time.